Are we going to be able to embrace some macro here? We have yet to do so this entire broadcast, actually. We've seen, I would say, nothing but all-ins, nothing but aggression. Even the PvP earlier was hyper-aggressive with non-stop DT play. So can we ever embrace like a 3-base economy here in this broadcast? Can we get there? Can we get there? Never. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Amygdala, we have the Brazilian Terran player, the blue Terran representing Team Hellfire. It is Maffer. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the Brazilian Zurich player representing Eximius Gaming. It is Vitorino. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamma time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as you get your predictions going. Now, what I will say is that Tatagiba is the clear favorite for this group. He is a semi-pro or at least a Masters player. So Tatagiba, he definitely has potential to make it far. He has been GM in the past as well. So he's coming in as a favorite. Meanwhile, our other competitors here, I will say, are close in skill. They're much closer in skill here. And even then, you know, Tatagiba, he does rely on cheese more than anything. So we can see some upsets. We can see some defenses. For now, gasless opener out of our Zerg. Bold move here on Amygdala. Very risky, very greedy as well. Not easy to get away with. It is going to be, okay, not fully gas, it's just late gas. So it's going to be hatch pool gas here from Vitorino. Now, proper gases builds go for a third hatchery before gas. So it's going to be late gas for Vitorino, but it's still going to be a factor. Now, typically, traditionally, at the pro level, if your gases are this late, you just skip link speed. You just skip link speed and you go for roach play instead. But I don't know if Vitorino is really willing to go for that kind of style. We'll see. Meanwhile, Maffer back at home, going for his own standard opener, going for his own Rax expand. Everything so far is looking normal from our Terran player, and a little bit more quirky from our Zerg. Here we go. Here we go. As, oh my Jesus, we're delaying link. I mean, we are delaying link speed. We're going into overlord speed. Okay. Overlord speed is on the way. Likewise, we have Maffer going for a third CC for starport. Economic build here by our Terran player. As Vitorino, he is going for his own Roach Horn as a follow-up. So we expected Roach play here out of our Zerg play. Does it still investigate? Okay, he does investigate. It's coming back to me. We've casted Vitorino in the past. He's going for the Overlord Scout into the main. Does go for the Scout. Does hit into said main base. Likewise, Vitorino setting up. Does set up, getting to his own roaches. Now, this is looking like more of a macro build here. It is a roach opener, that is true, but as you can see, he's droning. He's droning up, he's getting to a lair, taking his gases. This is, I would say, inefficient but very safe play by Vitorino to rush into Overlord speed in such a way. Basically, the scout that we just saw, you can do without Overlord speed. Like, you can just go in, it will cost you an Overlord, but it does save you all the gas, it does allow you to mine more minerals, it is more efficient to do so otherwise, but at least it does make sure that Vitorino, he sees everything at least, right? He sees everything in the main base, and he also saves the Overlord as well. So he is aware of the timing of the third CC. He's also aware of the 1-1-1, where you can see it's going to be Banshee play, and of course Vitorino can assume that as well, as that is very standard. It's very standard. Hellions, they pull back. One Hellion does fall. Vitorino does get into the main, does get a full scout. Likewise, Hellions, they bust into the mineral line. Drone's going to be going down. Getting 3 drone kills so far. Okay, 3 getting up to 6. Oh my god, getting far too much. And despite the roach base open, despite the Sim City, this should not have happened. This should not have happened here. I mentioned earlier how this was really safe play by Vitorino, and it is very safe play, but he does fail to protect his natural. He does fail to defend his mineral line, and with that, Vitorino, he's falling behind. There's a lot of damage done early on. Hellions, they do not scale well into a longer game, so that was a very nice trade here from Maffer. And from here, Maffer can now expand, get his 3rd base, saturate his bases completely, and get into the mid game. Right now, the pressure is on Vitorino to recover. As he's going not just into roaches, he's taking up into hydras as well. Okay. Hydras are going to be on the horizon here. Likewise, Maffer just building up into his own bioproduction, as it should be. Getting up to 8? 7. Getting up to 7 Raxes. That's a lot of Raxes on 3 bases already here before saturation, so Maffer getting a little bit ahead of himself when it comes to his production. He actually can't afford to actually get all this production online at the same time. So just too much production, too little economy. Maffer is settling in. Vitorino, he's being more efficient. Back up to 3 base saturation. Massing up his Roach Hydra. Maffer, he is missing some SCV cycles here, so that is slowing him down. He's going to get on top of that. Going to saturate that 3rd. And then he can turn all of this online. Coming into the mid game, I do still favor the setup here, or the overall, I was going to say the overall army composition of Maffer, but Vitorino also going to be incorporating some spellcasters. We have Infestors on the way, we have the Hive on the way as well. Vitorino getting to Roach Hydra Infestor. From here he can go into Lurker Tech, he can go into, I mean, Lurker Tech should be the go-to, especially with range upgrades, but we'll keep an eye on him. If he goes into melee, we could see maybe a switch into Ultras, for example. We'll keep an eye on him. JVC does move in for a scout. Does move in. We have 1-1 on the way. Vitorino, he will confirm everything. He does confirm the bio. Does confirm the production, the economy. From here, Maffer, he can go into his own 4th. Meanwhile, Vitorino still building up his own forces. Now, what I will say is that Maffer, he hasn't really seen much. He did harass earlier with the Hellions, that is true. But the Banshees, they've been at home. Yeah, the Banshees haven't been harassing. They've been stuck at home instead. So he doesn't really know what he's up against. He saw the Roaches earlier, but it could be Roach Ravager Ling Bane, or it could be Roach Hydra, as we're seeing here. And this was an option. I'm not too fond of this. It is going to be the Ultra Cavern. As I mentioned, if we saw melee, then Ultras would make sense. It's +2 range. So these Ultras are going to be, they're going to be very much so lacking when it comes to upgrades. So lack of upgrades here for Vitorino. The Ultra is going to be weaker as a result. They will at least have carapace upgrades, assuming we get into +3 carapace, assuming. And then of course kindness plating as well, so they can be tanky at least. But an interesting setup to say the least. So a very unorthodox composition out of Vitorino, but he can still make this work. At the same time, Maffer moving in, going for his double drop. Harassing for the first time while he's building up his forces and claiming the gold. I mean, he's about to max out, true. He is maxing out. Now, pre-Ultra, I still favor Maffer here, but a lot of it will come down to the fungal growths. Will come down to the blinding clouds. Oh, abduction's coming in. Oh, we can abduct. We get 1. We get 2. Yeah, we do shut down the Medivacs. Oh, abduction and a parasitic bomb as well. That was very costly energy-wise. That means there's no blinding clouds for the main army. Uh-oh. Yeah, there's no Vipers. I should say the Vipers are not going to come into play. The base goes down. Massive pickoff. Drone's going to be falling as well. Very nice move here from Maffer. Takes down the expansion and the mineral line. He's moving in. He's moving in. Yo, macro game for the first time. True, true. This tournament. Let's go. Has 2 medics go down. Nice pickups. Maffer attempting to drop. Once again, that's going to be another kill. Yeah, kill, not a cancel. Takes down another expansion. Vitorino, he's stuck on 3 bases. Ultras are revealed, but again, these are 0-1 ultras without kindness plating. Now, that does trigger a Ghost Academy. 3-3 is also on the way. I will say that against these ultras without any upgrades, the Marauder tank composition can still trade well. Go first, Professor goes down. Vitorino, he's committing in. Does commit. We have some blinding clouds, but again, the ultras are going to be melting. Nice fungal, but 2, 3, 4 ultras go down. The final ultra falls as well, but looks like it is going to be enough here to break through as the Hydras, they get on top of the final army. Bio army a little bit too late. Reinforcements, they arrive too little too late here. They do not protect the tanks. Still a very back and forth trade. Ultra does escape, does survive. From here, Maffer is forced back. Despite getting the gold, he never saturated. Never saturated the gold base. Again, the macro here of Maffer is slowing him down. It's hurting him more than anything. We have extra SCVs. We have to saturate the gold. And then again, there's no harass. There's no harass here. There's nothing stopping Maffer from claiming said gold base. As he's oversaturated, he does have to transfer. If he were to, he'd be the first to max out. 100%. Like, Maffer has the potential to be in a better game state here. But he needs that economy. And it might just be too late. Vitorino is moving in. And now he transfers. But he might not be able to actually take advantage of the economy itself. Vitorino moving in. Does move in. Has a supply lead. Yoinks the tank. Tank goes down. He's going for the planetary itself. Yeah, the planetary doesn't pay for itself in the end. It does go down. The mineral line as well. And Vitorino, he may have just done it. May have just done it. May have just taken it. Maffer stems in. Stems in, gets into the mineral line, getting 7 drone kills, 7 drones. Ultras, they do file in as well. Vitorino, he will defend. He's been hurting economically down to 45 workers, but the main army here is what's important. He has an army. He was able to preserve those Hydras earlier. Now getting into kindness plating, getting into 1-2 upgrades. Not the best upgrades, as his opponent has 3-3, but good enough. Again, in Maffer, he has not been making SCVs. He's been skipping production cycles. Trying to double expand. Ultras, they push forward. How many ghosts? 4. There are 4 ghosts so far. They can snipe, but there's just not enough support. Yeah, there's no support here. Vitorino, he will break this expansion. He's not going to slow down. Getting on top of the army. We have a couple of snipes popping up. He gets 1, he gets 2, he gets 3 ultras. Takes down 3 ultras, but alas, has been broken. Drop into the natural. Does actually distract Vitorino. He races back home. Okay. Because of this, Maffer can try to take advantage of the gold. Remember, Vitorino has also not been droning. I've been discussing a lot how Maffer has been missing SCV cycles. That is true. Likewise, Vitorino has not been droning up either, staying on 47 workers. But as I mentioned before, what's important is that even though Vitorino has a worse economy, he still maintains a larger army. Like, he still preserves key units like his Vipers, like his Ultras, like his Hydras. And there we go. Now he's droning. Now he's joining up. Vitorino, he moves out once again. Takes down the planetary. Planetary cannot lift. Massive pickoff. No planetary on the high ground. And we just keep going. Just keep on going. We get some nice snipes. Getting 1, 2, getting 3 ultras once again, getting 4. Like, a lot of ultras are going down, but there's still so many more. They get a couple swipes off. As that's what, 5 ultra kills. 3-3 kicks in. Not bad. Maffer, despite being down in supply, does take the better fight. Does take a much better fight, and he does hold on to the goal. Okay, we're in this. The goal base survives. The goal base is actually mining. At this point, I would say just lift and land the main. just lift and land the main base. But now long distance mining. There it is. Floating over towards the 3rd location. Vitorino, though, he did just drone. And he's still droning. He's still droning up. Now, he did lose all of his ultras, and Vitorino, he does have gas, but he has no minerals. He has no minerals. He's lacking an army. Maffer, he's pushing in. And Vitorino, he has nothing. He has nothing to defend. He has, what, 10 Hydras? That's not enough. Yeah, this base will fall. There's no saving this. The expansion does go down. Maffer taking top left. Sorry, Vitorino taking top left. How the pendulum swings from one player to the other. Crazy. It's back and forth. Maffer now in a better position, but he could overextend, only fighting with a portion of his army. Right now, there's nothing stopping him from just moving in. Right now, there's no infestors, so there's no fungal growth, there's no blinding cloud, there's no ultra. Unfortunately, he doesn't know this. He doesn't know what he's pushing into, but like now is his time. He does have a massive lead, a massive advantage. Well, as he's giving Vitorino a lot of respect. Back at home. Getting another CC, moving in a planetary, filling up his army. Vitorino, there's no reason to push into this. He does try to break out, fighting off of creep. After getting an Overlord, Lings, they push forward, they run into tanks. And Vitorino, he has no reason to engage off a creep like this. Likewise, I would say that Maffer, there should be more onus on him to rotate to try to knock down this northern base. As Vitorino, his economy is getting back up and running. Now making more ultras, more infestors. Maffer, there was a window in time where he could have just broken this base and killed his opponent, but that window is closing. Not closed yet, but closing. As Maffer, he's rallied in. Runs into spine crawlers, the boys are being pulled. At the same time, pushes towards the south side as well. And again, Maffer is only fighting with a portion of his army. Only a portion at a time. If he fought with everything, he could break this. Takes out one ultra. We need to give him some confidence back. Have some confidence. Oh no. As he's still just parked outside the bases. Now rallying out with more tanks. Now more tanks should allow him to slowly siege forward. Like this should be a sign here of things to come. As Maffer should be able to move out. And stems in, takes out the expansion. Let's do siege. Fungal does connect. Tank flow is going up. This is a risky maneuver here from Maffer, and again, he's only fighting with a portion of his army at a time. He is allowing Vitorino to rebuild. Okay, that is a lot of ultras. We need some snipes. Goes too far back. Best fight here for Vitorino. He takes down most of the tanks. Yeah, snipes are late. Now they're coming in after the fight. After the fact here. And Maffer is losing his economic lead, or his army lead even. And likewise, he's not been making SCVs, so no SCV production here from Maffer. Does take down an expansion, does take down the mineral line. Vitorino, he is still on 3 bases though, he still has a comparable economy to his opponent. He can target fire the Ultra. Does get away though. Does boost away. Maffer still not making SCVs. Aye. Likewise, holding on to energy as well for mules. I guess for scans. Now transferring over. Maffer is still going to be the first to remax, but Maffer has never been fighting with his entire army is the big problem here. He never fights with his entire army, he only just goes for drop play or goes for a portion at a time, so this is allowing Vitorino to survive. Survive, to recover. Gets a couple of drone kills, not bad. Gets 5-6, takes down an Infestor. A couple of Hydras. This is well worth it here for Maffer. At the same time, Vitorino moving in, but the planetary will hold. Do we have any ghosts? Just 3. Just 3 ghosts. And yeah, he's done it. He has done it. He defends back at home. He breaks through across the map. Takes down the mineral line, takes down the Hydras. Vitorino, he barely has anything left. And here comes the massive rally. Here comes everything. The tanks, the bio, the marauders. A couple of ghosts as well. He's got a couple of snipes. And again, it was very intense back and forth. Both players, they had their moments here. But Maffer, he's done it. He's done it. GG gets called, and Maffer, he takes game number 1. Whew. GG. That was game 1. GG, well played. Oh my god. Again, both players had their moments. I will say that Vitorino, he had a really hard time droning as well. He had a really time re-droning and resaturating. With that, GG. GG, well played. Maffer does take a lead, and now we're getting to game number 2. And we'll see if Vitorino can bounce back. Based on that previous game, I do think he can. In general, I do think that Vitorino, he, like, his opener did come together. His build made sense. For the most part, I'm not too fond of his rush into ultras. If you remember, like, the biggest issue with the initial rush into ultras and why they did fall so early is because of lack of upgrades. It was plus 2 range. For a while there, it was 0-1 ultras. 0-1 ultras, no kindness plating, no +2 carapace, no +1 melee. The ultras were very lackluster for a lot of that game. It took them a long time to actually catch up when it comes to the upgrades and actually be more effective. As a result, did see that Maffer was able to take better fights, despite having a worse economy and even a smaller army early on. Was able to recover and bounce back with a more efficient army and better upgrades. GG. GG, well played. That leads us here into game 2, and we'll see if Maffer can close this out or if Vitorino bounces back. Let's go. Let's go. As a reminder, Tatakiba is still waiting for the winner of the series. He's still waiting in the next round. Let's go. As spawning in the top right hand corner of Ley Lines, we have the Brazilian Zerg player, the Red Zerg, representing Zimis Gaming. It is Vitorino. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have the Brazilian Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Team Hellfire, leading the series 1-0. It is Maffer. Let's go. Let us go. As we are settling into our next game. And again, it has been an intense back and forth already. I mean, even last game, like, there were good moments or better moments for Maffer, then into Vitorino, then back and forth and back again. My heart, Pappy, my heart. And we'll see if we can force the ace match here. Now, as a reminder, last game we did have a late gas opener, but this time, okay, hatch, gas pool, looking a lot more standard. Now, because of the later gases last game, we did assume it was going to be a Roach-based build and Roach-based opener, which it was in the end. Here, we can lean towards Ling Bane. We can get into faster Ling speed. We'll see where our Zerg player takes us. This Maffer is expanding. Does expand, does take as natural. Likewise, Vitorino back at home, also settling in. So far, so good. No crazy setups, no crazy proxies. And I appreciate that we're finally getting some macro out of our players. Like, if you weren't here for the previous matches in this broadcast, it was just non-stop aggression, non-stop all-ins, proxies, cheese. It was crazy. now we can calm down. Now we can enjoy a macro game. It's crazy. Third base is on the way for Vitorino at a standard timing. Ling speed is on the way. Vitorino, he even pulls out of gas. And likewise, third CC before starport. So economic opener here out of Maffer and economic build out of Vitorino as well. Stark contrast as what we saw last game. Here we go. Now, as a reminder, last game we did see Maffer go into Banshees. He didn't research Cloak. He went into a singular Banshee, then into his own 3-base setup, into 5 Raxes, into his bio tank. He was very passive last game, which is my big criticism. I mean, he did go for a Hellion run by, true, and he did do a lot of economic damage with it, but it was very passive with his Banshees. It was very passive with his medevac timings as well. Did stay back at home until his eventual tank push. We'll see if that changes coming into game 2. As here comes the Overlord Scouts. Vitorino, he will confirm what's going on. Once again, Banshee play, no Cloak. Interesting. He does go to 4 Hellions into an add-on swap. A little bit premature here, as it means that the reactor, I mean, that's going to be done with it for the time being. But only 4 Hellions. Meanwhile, Vitorino rushing into a very fast lair. That was, what, a 4-minute lair timing, if not earlier than that. So very early there here from Vitorino. Likewise going for the Bailey Nest. Now, we do have to keep tabs here on the gases. If we do take earlier gases, we could try to go into 2-base Muna, but as I say that, we have pulled back into gas, but no extra gases are being taken. So this might just be for safety for an earlier Overseer Scout. Hellions, they dive into the natural. This time, Lings are ready for it. They're ready for the dive, and they do get a surround. And nice skin up here from Vitorino. This time, he does not lose a drone. Does defend. I believe maybe 1 drone goes down. Not even. As we panic a little bit here. Oh, canceling the Spire. Sorry, canceling the lair, canceling the Spine Crawler, going to gases. It's a lot of gases on the way. Lair is now complete. And typically this should lead into an early Baneling speed timing. Baneling Nest is done. Baneling speed has not yet been researched. Likewise, no Evo Chambers either. Back at home, Maffer does defend. I mentioned before how passive he was with his Banshee last game, and the same thing this game as well. He keeps the Banshee at home. Now, last game, you could attribute this to the fact that we saw a roach base opener with this Hellion run by, so he was being defensive against roaches. Here, there is no roach warren, there is no setup. And last, this means that Maffer has less scouting, less vision across the map, less awareness of what's going on. We'll clean up the links. Likewise, scan across the map to figure out what exactly is happening. We can see it's Lingbane, just Lingbane. Scan does confirm this, does see it. That's a lot of scans. For the most part, he was aware of what was happening, but does spend an extra scan towards the end. Maffer just a little bit paranoid as to what's going on. I mean, again, it wasn't early there, but we can see it's just, oh, into Lingbane, Lingbane Muta. Now, we were searching for the Spire earlier. This is going to be a little bit later here after the upgrades. But it is after the scan, so this may still catch Maffer off guard. It's going to hit later, don't get me wrong. It's going to be a much later Muta timing. Even already taking up into the infestation pits. Oh. Now, the problem here, as we're seeing, is that we're spending gas elsewhere. Gas on upgrades, gas on the Bailey Nest, gas on tech as well. So there's going to be less mutas to work with. As mutas are very gas-intensive units. So that is my concern, at least. And now, Vitorino just spreading creep, saturating his bases. Setting up back at home. Maffer, well, once again, a bit of an overreaction here, a bit of a misclick. Going back to mining. Oh, I think he lifted. Oh, God. We've seen this before. I think he lifted his CC for a moment, and he had to land it. So all the workers, they all went to the third base to just send the resources. We've seen that before. Calm down, Bobby, calm down. Meanwhile, Hive is on the way. We have 7 mutas in production. 7 mutas, that is enough to harass. That is more than enough to one-shot workers. So Vitorino, he can get some damage done across the map. Can get damage done. Mutas they poke in. They have revealed themselves, so they don't really get any economic damage done. So far, Maffer is keeping up. Mutas are looking for another way in. We have Ultras on the horizon. This time, we actually have upgrades leading into Ultras with the melee upgrades with Carapace. That was one of our criticism last game. Because of the initial Roach Hydra, because of the range upgrades and lack of Carapace, I mean, the Ultras, they just were lacking in their strength and their power. Not this time, though. This time working into 2-2, eventually 3-3. Maffer has been contained back at home, and again, he has been missing macro cycles when it comes to his SCVs, hasn't been making workers, hasn't been muling. So Maffer is in trouble. Tanks are unsieged. And Lingbane rolls in, catching out the army, getting us around, locking down the forces. And Maffer is being overwhelmed. Yeah, the army does crumble. From here, denies mining at the third, or at the fourth, I should say. Not enough to break the main army, not enough to break the third base, but is enough to deny the fourth. So nice pick up here by Vitorino. Behind this, we have 5 Ultras on the way. And Vitorino is now looking much more comfortable this game. Getting to Ultras, Hive is now done. The Mutas, they didn't really come into play. They harassed a little bit. They did contain Maffer. They forced out all these turrets. So I guess in a way they did get some value here. There's a lot of turrets in the main, at the third, at the natural. So much investment into these turrets when really he was just focusing on his ground army, focusing on his Lingbane, and now his ultras. So Maffer just caught with his pants down. And Vitorino, he's maxed. He's maxed out at this point. He's got Vipers, Investors, Fungals, Blinding Clouds. He's ready. He's ready to move in. Yo, as we get into this, so a big shout out to Rotterdam in the chat. Gah, baby, gah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much here. As here comes a dive. Vitorino moving in. Here come the inductions. Gets one, gets two. And there's just not much left. There's not much left here. He does roll in. Shuts down the fire. Doesn't quite get on top of the tanks, but it's gonna be good enough. As he takes out the planetary, he cannot lift. Planetary finishes just in time to go down. And Maffer is stuck on 3 bases. He's stuck with barely an economy, down to 50 SCVs. He's mulling his heart out. He's trying to hold on. But Vitorino, he can just chill, calm down, and build up. But thank you so much, Rotterdam. Hope you enjoyed the Platinum Heroes, the new Platinum Heroes event. I know that they've been now organizing the new monthly tournaments for the more like semi-pro up-and-coming player scene. So big shout out to Rotterdam and to Platinum Heroes for hosting that event. Hope you guys had a good time. Thank you for the raid, and welcome one and all to the Brazilian StarCraft 2 circuit. For those that are just now tuning in, this is the beginning of a big event happening in Sao Paulo. There's going to be an offline event in Brazil. Again, that's going to be on the horizon. That's going to be in a couple of months. This is the online group stage, though, into the offline playoffs. As Ultras, they roll on in, they shut down the tanks, they break the third again. There's barely anything here. Maffer is being overwhelmed. And the Ultras, they just want some hugs, Pat. They just want hugs. Aye. And knocking down the wall, pushing into the bases, and there is no army. There is no army left. There's medevacs, there's a tank, there's a couple of Marines, 2 ghosts come out, but GG gets called, and Vitorino, he will tie the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. GG. Flash shouts. Rotterdam. There we go. Just giving Rotterdam a shout out. But GG, well played. Este light. Este Jimmy. Tin chat. Este sure. Good morning, babies. Good morning. But yes, welcome one and all. Again, hope you guys had a great time over with Rotterdam's stream and also with the Platinum Heroes broadcast. I keep saying Platinum Heroes. What's the name of the event? Is the Platinum StarCraft 2 League April. There you go. I believe it was limited to players with 3K League Elect points and below. So yeah, hope you guys had a great time. I believe it builds up towards an end of year finals as well. So again, big shout out to those working behind the scenes on that event at the Platinum Heroes, and also Rotterdam as well for covering it as well. Big shout out. Oh, Jumi won the event. Let's go. Este Jumi. Aye. Do love to see it. But it looks like we need a minute. We do need a minute here to get into our game. So this actually gives us a moment here to go over the event itself and check out the bracket. Exclamation mark be in the chat to get a link to the Wikipedia page yourself as we head on over here and catch up on the main event. Now again, for those that are just now tuning in, this is the group stage. Now the group stage is being held online. We have group stage 1, which is 4 full groups of players, as you can see here. Again, all Brazilian, by the way. The Brazilian on Brazilian action. It's beautiful. It's amazing. We're currently in group B. So today we have group A and group B before us. Tomorrow it's going to be group C and group D. That leads us into group stage 2. That's going to be next week. And then we have the playoff bracket as well. And again, the tail end of the playoffs are going to be, I believe, potentially even the entirety of the playoffs are going to be held offline. There is an event in Sao Paulo. Shout out to Cosmo, shout out to the Brazilian scene, the Brazilian community. They have been crowdfunding this offline event for the prize pool, for player travel as well. So there's a lot of effort, a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot put into this event. So big shout out to those working behind the scenes. Much love, Papi, much love. As the Brazilian scene is thriving, and here we go, we're getting into game number 3, the ace match, and spawning in the top right hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the Brazilian Zerg player, the red Zerg representing Eximius Gaming. It is Vitorino. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the Brazilian Terran player representing Team Hellfire. It is Maffer. Here we go. As we have had a couple of different openers and styles so far in this series. Game 1, Vitorino did open up Roach. He went Roach into Roach Hydra into Roach Hydra Ultra, which was a bit of an awkward transition. We did speak about it previously, but didn't really have many upgrades for his Ultras by the time they hit the field. There were 0-1 Ultras, which was crazy, and they didn't really have much power behind them. They didn't really have much strength behind them either, and we saw the awkward transition led into Maffer having just a much stronger defense, much stronger setup. He had 3-3 by the time we got into 1-1, I want to say. It was crazy, and in the end Maffer did snowball out of control. But game 2 was a lot more comfortable here for Vitorino, taking advantage of the more defensive style of Maffer. Maffer, he was staying back at home, getting his natural, getting his third base, getting his fourth base. Vitorino, he had free reign of the entire map. He was able to be much more greedy. He was able to drone, able to saturate, and get out of hand, get into his own comfortable game state. So coming into this, I do lean towards Vitorino, but we have seen Maffer fight back before. We'll see if he takes a more aggressive approach. That's my big criticism so far here of Maffer, is that he has been very passive. He's been very, very passive outside of Hellion run-bys. So he has allowed Vitorino to be quite greedy as a result. Has been very greedy, at least in the last game. Now that we're settling in. And again, I do apologize for the delayed shout out, but there's a 4-minute delay. It's a big delay. Big delay on the stream, so don't apologize. Here we go. So now we do have our hatch gas pull into a third base from Vitorino, going to link speed, pulling out of gas, so standard setup here from our Zerg player once again. Meanwhile, we do have Maffer likewise going for his own Rax expand as well. The Reaper has arrived, dancing with the army, but nothing major. I'll speak of a couple of links, and pulls away. Likewise, third CC here from Maffer. Again, standard economic start. For the past 2 games, we have seen Hellion into Banshee play from our Terran player. We might see that again. There's the add-on swap into Hellion production. And we'll see how heavily he commits. For the most part, though, once again, another passive start. Vitorino moving in with his Overlord. Oh, let's go. That's Ome in control. As Overlord moves in, and we'll confirm everything's looking as it should be. There's a third expansion, there's add-on swap into Banshee play. We'll be able to confirm whether or not there is even Cloak. Or if there's even an add-on swap, true. So now the starport's being left on its own. Vitorino getting in position. There we go, there's the add-on swap. Oh, and we go interesting. Okay, we do go for the add-on swap, going Viking first. I was curious as to why it took some time to actually get into this. The Overlord goes down, and what are we going for? We are going for, once again, an add-on swap here into Marine production, but we do have a fusion core for BCs. Okay, Maffer is mixing it up. Let's go. does mix it up. Spicy build here from our Terran player. Now, it's still going to be BC into Bio, not BC into Mech, as we have 2 more Raxes on the way. It's only going to be initially 4 Hellions. So only 4 Hellions. Usually we would see more than this, just to be able to have more map control, and we can threaten the bases a little bit more here. For now, though, lower Hellion counts, early Marine production instead. Hellions rotating in between the bases, looking for a way in. And the big question becomes, how many queens? So far, 5. Oh, very low queen counts. Only 5 queens. Basically 1 queen for each base and only 2 roaming. And with the low queen count, these BCs are getting it out of hand. Now, thankfully, because of the Overlord Scout, there's already spores, right? We have a spore in the main, we have a spore at the natural, and the spore at the 3rd base. So plenty of spores in position. There's 1 transfuse on the Overlord. I say that just because transfuses can come into play here for that BC defense. So all the energy will count. And again, I'm just really concerned by the low queen count here. 6th queen is on the way, but it's very late. Setting up. Overseas is going to go down. Oh. And the Overseer, does scout, does confirm. We have the BC, we have eyes on it. Instantly, Spire. Spire is thrown down here. Extra queens are being built. Queens, they do come forward. They have plenty of energy for transfuse. And again, the surprise factor of this BC, it's not here. Not here, not anymore. Vitorino, he knows, Pappy, he knows. He's aware. So Maffer is moving in. Focusing on clearing up creep, not going for the mineral lines. I mean, he does have his teleport available, but he shouldn't get much done here. Again, plenty of queens, plenty of transfuse. He does save the Overlord, let's go. Saves the Overlord, zones Maffer away. Does zone him back. And the Overlord won't get any economic damage done. Oh, and there's a rough start here for our Terran player. I mean, he's still getting to his bio, don't get me wrong. He's getting into his 3-base setup, Master Axes, Stim, Combat Shields. Like, he's getting into that mid-game, don't get me wrong. But alas, he has nothing to threaten the Zerg player. Vitorino, he's free to drone. He's free to drone, free to saturate. Behind this, going into an infestation mode. We've seen this before. This should be for the hive. This should be for ultra production. Likewise, Spire is done. We have a couple of corruptors on the way to be safe. I would say that because there's only 1 BC and against Bio, we can try to get. We could have gotten away with going into Mass Muta, but again, Vitorino playing safe. Does play safe. Makes a couple of corruptors. Maffer is turtling up. He's turtling up, knocking down those towers. Trying to fortify himself. I mean, supply-wise, sure, he's in a decent position. My big concern for Maffer is what comes next. The Hive. Right, the Hive is halfway done. This should once again be for Ultras. Now, the upgrades are a little bit lacking here for Vitorino this time. Looks like he is a little bit delayed when it comes to Carapace. So his upgrades are going to be a little bit lopsided. Likewise, I do think that he could have droned up a little bit harder earlier on. So just now droning up, just now saturating. But based on the setup that Maffer has, it looks like he isn't pushing anytime soon. He has his upgrades, he has medevacs, so he can go for drop play. Oh, there's the Unsiege. Never mind, he's pushing. Let's go. Maffer does move out, does have that supply lead. Again, the droning was delayed for Vitorino. Likewise, he's still droning. Does he have enough on the ground? He has 12 banelings. He has 67. He has plenty of lings, don't get me wrong. BC into the main. Main army's moving in. And how well can we split so far? Here come the Banelings. Yeah, they collapse on forward. Decent spread here from Maffer. He avoids the Banelings and he shuts us down. Maffer, he snowballs out of control. He breaks through that defensive line. Sure, the Hive is done, but there's nothing with the Hive. There's no Ultra Cavern. It's too late. It's too early for that. Maffer, he breaks on through. Mineral line goes down. And Vitorino, he just doesn't have any army to defend. He overinvested into the Corruptors. He has Corruptors. What can they do? They do nothing. They're going to be zoned away. Maffer pushing in. And he's so close to breaking Vitorino here and now. I mean, he's already broken him. Yeah, the bases are falling left and right. He stims in. He stims. And he's looking to win. Vitorino. Again, it took him too long to drone, to saturate. And you could argue being a little bit too greedy tech-wise, right? Taking up into Hive, taking up into Ultras. But again, thinking too far ahead. GG gets called and Maffer snowballs out of control. He will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the decider match. GG. GG, well played. Again, the initial BC opener was lackluster. The BC didn't really do much, but we saw that Vitorino, he was maybe a little bit too comfortable. I was happy with him droning, but again, he was taking up even further, right? He was going for the infestation bit, Hive, he was making even more Corruptors, not making Lingbane, not investing into his ground army. He was vulnerable, and Maffer, he wasn't too defensive. I was concerned that Maffer was going to be turtling up back at home and just waiting to max out. We saw something similar last game. Last game, he was very passive. Not this time, though. This time, Maffer, he was on it. He was aggressive. He pushed out. GG. He caught Vitorino with what? With his pants down, Papi. The pants were down. GG. And Maffer, he will claim it. And that means we have our winner's match. Let's go. So earlier here in the broadcast, we did feature another ZBZ between Tatagiba and Mova. And Mova. Or am I thinking of Malova? It all blends together. Hold on. Marova, that's it, Marova. And Tatagiba did win that series, which means we have another TVZ. We have Maffer advancing on to face up against Tatagiba in the next round. Let's go. Who happens to be on the Platinum Heroes? Hey! It all comes together. It all lines up. So we have our Platinum Heroes Zerg player up against our Team Hellfire Terran in that winner's match. Vetoes are underway. So we'll see you guys soon here in our next series. We're just going to be going on a short break. We're going to be going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll have our next series. We'll have our next best of 3 between Maffer and Tatagiba to determine who's the first player to make it out of Group B. So enjoy the break, enjoy the Brutal OST. Take this time to get some snacks, get some food, get some water, drain your disruptors, massage your marines, and hydrate all your hydras. We'll be back soon with our winners match. See you soon. See you soon. Bye. See you soon.